And, what is your opinion on the marijuana industry right now? How
Marijuana
do you think
industry.
about something that was illegal? Many people got incarcerated for it, and then now it's becoming a product everybody, all the corporations are selling right now.
Um, it's tough. I think as far as the people incarcerated for it, I almost want to say they should all be let go.
Okay.
But due to the way that society is in prison, if they were in prison, you don't know what that did to their mental state.
Okay.
So it might have made them bad people or more corrupted people in
Okay.
there when they probably weren't in the first place. Just selling weed is not a bad thing to
Yeah.
me, but once you go into jail, you start dealing with different kind of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you start living a different type of way. So I don't know. I feel like all those people should be free, but I don't know. I'm not no judge. But as far as the industry blowing up like that, it's crazy. I was just watching a interview. My boy Tori Sharp got me hip to it, and he was explaining to me how marijuana has been almost engineered to do something different now. Like back in the day when it was natural,
Yeah.
and I feel like the reason why it was legal was because it had a low content of THC
Okay.
and a high content of CBD.
Okay.
Nowadays, everyone wants to get really,
Really,
really
really
high
high.
and really, really stoned. So the scientists and the people that are experimenting on it have taken almost all the CBD out of it
Okay.
and increased the THC, which is terrible for men
Okay.
and women across the board. You know what I mean? But having that natural high that you used to get from marijuana
Yeah.
is no longer the same high. Like they've increased all the things that are in the marijuana
Okay.
in today's culture or whatever, and it's just
Okay.
not good for humans to be intaking that much THC at one time.
Okay. So, what is your opinion when it comes to snitching now?
Snitching?
Yeah.
I
'Cause
mean,
it is a
snitches.
fine line though. Like some in some instances, like
I don't really feel like it's a
there's
fine line. I
it's
feel
a
like
fine
it's
line
just something
because
that you're just not supposed to do, in my opinion. Especially if you're in that game. If you're in your apartment and you have nothing to do with the game, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And you witness a murder
yeah,
across the street, some old lady getting mugged. Hey, if you go tell if you have that's what you have to do. But if you're in some gang shit and some shit goes down, you gotta just keep that shit. That's between y'all. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
You don't need to talk to the police. I'm not talking. You don't talk to the police
okay,
point blank period because the police don't never have your back. Anything that I've ever dealt with, the police have never had my back. No
okay,
matter if they say they do or not, they bullshitting. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, don't speak to them. Like that's my opinion as far as snitching. Like
okay.
don't speak to the police.
So, what is the worst experience you've had as far as dealing with the police thing
The worst
that you can tell
experience,
with?
them lying. Like I remember one time, so we was coming back from the city or something. I got too many stories with the police, which is unfortunate. But we was coming back from the city. My sister was a little drunk. She gets pulled over, um, and they asked her to step out the car. When she stepped out the car, they have her doing the the
The standard operating procedure,
the
get out,
procedure, get
you know, show
the
your ID and
the drinking. What do they
uh,
call it when you're
the sobriety
sobriety test?
test. Yeah.
They had her going through that, and something happened. I'm in the car. I'm in the passenger seat, and something happened out there with them where they ended up like kind of grabbing her, kind of rough.
Yeah.
I noticed how they were kind of manhandling her. So I got out the car. And I said, "Hey, she's a girl. My sister's a tomboy.
Yeah.
So she dresses like a
Like,
like a dude.
okay.
So sometimes maybe I feel like the police might not notice that or whatever.
Yeah.
So when I seen that, I jumped out the car and I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Relax. She's like 130 pounds. You're a whole 230 pounds.
Yeah.
You're a whole 100 pounds more than her. You don't need to grab her like that." And when I kind of approached the officer, his backup jumped on me like, "Hey, don't attack my officer or whatever." And I'm just like, "Yo, chill," like, you know what I'm saying? And just by me saying chill all of a sudden I'm on the ground, face first in the ground, you know what I'm saying, getting handcuffed, and I'm off on my way, I'm in the back seat now.
Yeah.
I get assault, second degree assault on a police officer and some more shit. And I'm like, bro, like, how did y'all extend all that? Like, none of that is true. Like, I didn't assault anybody. You know what I'm saying? So I just know how they can manipulate everything. You know what I'm saying? And just change people's words. And a simple traffic violation can turn into something big.
Very, very big.
Especially when you have the wrong, you know, skin tone or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a lot of people will say, "Oh, just behave and do what the cops say." And I get that whole state of mind, but at the end of the day, bro, they're not always fair. You know what I'm saying? So you have to step up for yourself, bro. You can't let them just manhandle whoever they want to. Like, that's a female. If y'all gonna be so big and bad about the female thing, then don't treat females wrong. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not she was drunk or not, or falling over or not, you don't have to manhandle her. You're 220 pounds, she's 130 pounds. Tighten up. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be all extra big and bad. I'm Mr. Cop. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to step up every time when I see cops doing wrong.
All right. So do you think people should be getting a pass when they snitch? Let's talk about the Tekashi problem right now. As far as that case is concerned, I've heard one of the Trailway gang member was wearing a wire prior to the arrest. That's the reason why the fed was able to, you know, gather all the information they have, you know, before arresting him. So my personal opinion, right, I think by being presented with all those evidence, so he doesn't have any choice but to say, okay, fuck it. If you already have all the evidence coming from somebody wearing a wire from the gang, so what is the choice that I have to protect everybody?
I mean,
so that's my take on it. So right now we really don't know exactly if it's, you know, the Fed is just lying to get everybody to talk, or they really have.
That's my point. Once again, I go back to what I said earlier. The police can manipulate anything. It's kind of like media. I feel like media is the most powerful thing. They can make the guilty look innocent and make the innocent look guilty. Just like that. You know what I'm saying? Just by telling their story a certain way and saying words in a specific manner to deceive people. You get what I'm saying? As far as 6ix9ine snitching on the people that he was running with, I don't really. I mean, you paid, and from what I know of the story, I don't research 6ix9ine. I really don't like 6ix9ine that much.
Right now.
But I mean, as from what I've heard, he wanted to put a hit out on somebody, so he paid someone to kill someone. So I don't even understand how you can snitch on someone and make your sentence less. It was up to you to make that happen. So I feel like his time shouldn't be any less for snitching either way. He shouldn't have snitched, in my opinion. But I don't know how deep it goes. People saying his gang was fucking his girl and they robbed him and shit. But I mean, at the same token, he used Treyway, from what I can tell, to get to where he's at. So if it wasn't for Treyway, he wouldn't be in a position to snitch in the first place. He wouldn't be in that situation, point blank period. So once again, I go back to the culture that we live in. We shouldn't be dealing with things like that in the first place. We shouldn't be like 6ix9ine was rowdy. You know what I'm saying? He's in the middle of Chicago saying fuck any nigga in Chicago, come see me. Like, why are you living like that? First of all, tighten up. Keep making your little pop music or your cool gang music or whatever. Go sit your ass in a house, bro. Like, you don't really have to do the most, but obviously he did to get the attention that he got. If he didn't do all the stunts and, you know what I'm saying, showboating the way he was doing, he wouldn't be as popular as he was. You know what I'm saying?
He got if you look throughout, you know, history, all the major group that we've seen, they all came from like a gang kind of, not gang per se, but a group kind of environment. The Wu-Tang, the G-Unit, everybody. Like, you know, the Cash Money. If all of them are like sort of like a little gang or neighborhood or whatever. So, like you said, he profited from it. But at the end, I think he was being too reckless. Like, it feels like we all kind of saw it coming.
I mean, everyone saw it coming the way he was moving. But I mean, that's like, it's like the cool thing, I guess, to do things the way he was. I don't know. I can't get behind any of that stuff. Like the whole tie-dye hair and everything about that kid is wrong to me.
So do you think gang should rethink their way of recruiting people now?
The way
Because it feels
gangs.
like they're just accepting people for the numbers, right?
So once
It's
again, I'll go back to what I was like from my album, how we're lost in the system. I think that gangs are even derived from this nation, as far as like you look at the Crips and the Bloods.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like it's blue and red. What is our politicians? They're blue and
blue
red.
and red,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? So I feel like it
fighting
all
each other all the
stems.
time.
They're always fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? So it all stems from somewhere way deeper than that. You know what I mean? And it's like if we could all just put all that bullshit to the side, no disrespect to no gangs. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's your family,
Yeah.
that's your family. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I was young, I always wanted to feel like I was welcome somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I looked for certain brotherhoods or gangs to be affiliated with, but I realized I don't need any of that. I just need me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And God. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I'm good.
So, do you think the gang mentality will ever go away?
I
Or
don't
as
think
long
so.
as we have neighborhood that are deprived of, yeah,
I don't think gangs will ever go away personally.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's a bad thing or a good thing, but it's just the way that it's the world that we live in. Unfortunately, I think you know our police is the biggest gang in our country, in my opinion.
Okay.
Some people will say it's the Crips and the Bloods or MS-13 or something, but I think the police are the biggest gang. Our Uncle Sam, our government is the biggest gang. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they know how to finesse everyone,
Yeah.
and keep us fighting each other so that they can keep finessing us.
Okay.
And we keep killing each other and fighting each other. Before you know it, they're going to instill this thing called martial law, and before
Yeah.
you know it, they'll have full control. They can come in our houses at any time, take all of our guns away from
Yeah.
us. You know what I'm saying? I'm a super believer in the Second Amendment. We all should have guns. We should all have protection
Protection,
for
yeah.
ourselves. Protection not from my brothers. I
Yeah.
shouldn't be afraid of my brothers. I shouldn't be afraid of the dude that I grew up with. I shouldn't be afraid of him.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of our government and what they can do to me. You get what I'm saying? So that's who I want protection from. I want protection from our military. You get what I'm saying? My military is only supposed to be fighting outside of this country.
Yeah.
The fact that I think that they have some influence to hurt me is the reason why I'm strapped. You get what I'm saying? So I don't have no time to vote for anyone that wants to take my guns away.
Okay.
And I mostly see Democrats trying to take our guns away.
Okay.
But then you got the Republicans that just look goofy as hell, so you can't really vote with them. And then the independents not even really a thing anymore. So I don't know. It's kind of you're lost in the system. You got to pick the better of two evils. I keep hearing people say that. Pick the better of two evils. How about no evil? You get what I'm saying? Like, why is that not an option? Why can't we find someone that understands everyone in this world? We all live here as a society. We need to help each other, and that's the main goal. You know what I'm saying?